Welcome to Uxbridge Scugog Life. I'm your host, Jackie Hermans, and I feel so official here. This is very cool. I am at the Lucy Maud Montgomery Society site inside the church. I'll be talking more about that later. And today I'll be meeting with Melanie Whitfield, who is the president of the Lucy Maud Montgomery Society. Now, Lucy Maud Montgomery is a Canadian author, known for her first novel, Anne of Green Gables, and she continued on with the Anne series. And here in Leesdale, she wrote 11 of her 22 novels. She also wrote several poems. I think she wrote maybe 530 poems and 30 essays. If I have some of those numbers wrong, I apologize for that. But she is a true inspiration. And this is actually my first time on site. I have lived in Uxbridge for 11 years. I can't believe this is my first time being here, and I'm super excited to get to know Melanie and find out more about Lucy Maud's experience in Leesdale and what her life was all about and what you can experience and explore coming here yourself with your family. They have lots of events here and tours and things like that, and we'll also get into that. So we'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Your mouth can do a lot of amazing things. And your mouth can save a life.
Hi, I'm Tom Wong. I'm just one of close to 1,000 Canadians in search of a stem cell match. We need your help.
A simple swab is all you need to register on the National Stem Cell Database. You could be the one to save a life. Find the hero in you.
Hi, I'm Angel Morgan, host of Raising Energy. Join me weekly as I connect to spirits, animals, and so much more. That's right, Raising Energy, right here only on Rogers TV.
So I am with Melanie Whitfield, who's the president of the Lucy Maud Montgomery Society, and we are inside the church of Lucy Maud Montgomery's husband, who was the minister here, right? Okay, so Melanie, talk to me about this church. Is this pretty much the way it was way back then?
It is pretty much the way it was. Like what you see was here. When they were here, the pews are original and the pulpit furniture is original, and the wainscoting. It is the stained glass windows. All that is original. Obviously we've done some painting and redid the hardwood floors and new carpeting. But if you can just take the electrical, stuff out that's here now, you would pretty much have the space where Ewan MacDonald was the minister and where Lucy Maud Montgomery did so much of her work with the church.
So did they move here as soon as they got married? Is that how it worked? And where did they come from?
Well, they both came from PEI. Montgomery was born in Cavendish, and Ewan was born further east on the island, and he came to Cavendish trying out for the church pulpit there for the ministry. And of course, Montgomery was already 30-ish then, and a very handsome young man, and so there was some electricity there. They eventually did get engaged, but they stayed, she chose to be engaged secretly for years because she lived with her grandparents and was raised by her grandparents, and it was only her grandmother left, and she had promised to look after her grandmother till she passed away.
Okay.
So when they became engaged, she told Ewan she needed to look after her grandmother. So 5 years later, in 1911, when grandmother did pass away, Lucy Maud Montgomery was virtually without a home. So they got married in June of that year and went on a 6-week honeymoon tour of the British Isles, and then moved directly to Leesdale because Ewan had already been posted here the year before. And that's what brought Montgomery away from her beloved island. And she lived in Ontario for the rest of her life, with many visits back to the island, of course, during that time.
So the home in which they lived is just down the road here. And so this was her first home independent of her grandparents.
That's right.
And she lived here with her husband, was it 10 years?
15 years.
15
From
years,
1911 to 1926, they lived here. Yes.
Okay. And tell me about her home. What
All right.
Yeah, what kind of home is this?
Yeah, well, it's a traditional Ontario yellow brick, yellow stone home of the period. So I about the late 1880s it was built, 1889 I believe. And like most farmhouses of the time, large rooms, high ceilings, lots of windows and doors, more windows and doors that generally we would see in homes now. And Montgomery does make note of that in her dining room. If you go to visit, she says, my least acceptable room of the whole place, because there's so many windows and doors. She had to put her china cabinet in front of the door, and there wasn't much room around her dining, her dining room table and things like that. But and she had no indoor plumbing. So they had to carry water in, and they had an outhouse toilet to use. And that was her one thing. She was just disappointed in it, but she loved it because it was her very first home, as you mentioned. And she finally could do with her home what she wanted to do. And because she was independently wealthy, she could afford a maid while she lived here. And so she had four maids in her 15 years that they lived here.
Wow, now she was independently wealthy because of all the stories she wrote for the newspaper, the poems that she wrote, the novels that she wrote.
She had published 3 novels, Anne of Green Gables, the most famous, in 1908. And when she came here with Ewan, the church community already knew who she was, right? Green Gables was that popular. So they moved here in 1911, so it was just 3 years since the publication of Anne of Green Gables. So
she must have received such a warm welcome when she came here, thinking, an author, a Canadian author is moving to our community.
Yeah, I'm sure she did. They did have a reception for her.
Beautiful.
And yeah.
Now, is the home known to be haunted at all with it being
actually, yes.
Yeah?
Actually, not during Montgomery's time, I don't believe, but there is this, yeah. I mean, we don't, some people think it is, we don't personally think it is, but we have had people who deal with that come and spend evenings or nights here to see what they could find. And nothing really dramatic has ever been discovered.
Okay. Any particular type of sightings that you've heard about?
No.
No? Okay.
No. We, of course, the Lucy Maud Montgomery, we can feel the spirit of Maud when we're in her home, for sure.
Nice. So, I'm an empath, so I feel like I'll be able to feel the energy within the home. That will be exciting.
Yeah.
So we will be right back with more very interesting, cool historical information about Lucy Maud Montgomery. Make sure you keep watching. All that and more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
As the first ever winners of the Epic Mac and Cheese competition hosted by Durham College, we're here to show you how to make the award-winning recipe. Today we decided to use ziti noodles, but you can substitute it for any other type of pasta that can hold the sauce. So in order to make the sauce, you're going to need flour, butter, milk, and a little bit of mustard, and of course the most important ingredient, a little bit of Munster cheese.
So first we're going to saute off some onions and garlic. After that we're going to add the margay sausage. At the very end, we're just going to add the green onions, roasted red pepper, and mushrooms. What makes it spicy is the cayenne pepper and the red pepper flakes.
And now we mix it all together. And lastly, dish up and enjoy, Durham.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So I'm with Melanie Whitfield, who is the president of the Lucy Maud Montgomery Society, and we're hanging out in the church where Ewan MacDonald, who is the husband of Lucy Maud Montgomery, was a minister for. And there is a pew, the second pew in here is the one where Lucy Maud actually sat during this service, which I think is so cool. Before I leave, I need to sit on that pew. Feel Lucy's energy. We go on a first name basis, Lucy and I, apparently.
Yeah. Maud.
Maud, sorry, Maud. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about the manse. So I understand it was the society's dream to refurbish it, to restore it to its natural beauty of where it was at, and the society actually achieved that. So tell me, what did you do to be able to restore it? What did you need to put into it?
Well, before we became a not-for-profit organization in the middle 2000s, we began as a grassroots organization, and then we became a committee of council when the Uxbridge Township actually did buy the manse to keep it for future considerations as a museum, because of the constant lobbying of Wilda Clark, who was one of the members of the community and believed very much that the manse and this site would be important one day. She had the vision.
Nice.
And she encouraged the township to buy the manse, which they did. And then we became a committee of council. And ever since those times, and even in the grassroots before we became a committee of council in 1994, people had this vision of their Montgomery's Manse being a place for the public to come and visit. So it was a vision over a long period of time. And our dream had always been to celebrate the 100th anniversary of her arrival here with the restoration of the manse.
Beautiful. You're giving me goosebumps right now. And what an inspiration. You know, why not inspire not only the community of Uxbridge, Scugog, but all the tourists that come in here. From a teen girl using her passion to write, just following that dream, and writing so many amazing novels.
Right.
So the fact that this society is keeping that so strong is so amazing.
So in 2011, we actually did complete the restoration of the manse with 2 Trillium grants, but we also had been approached by the congregation of this church at the time to purchase this church. They had given us the first rights of refusal to purchase this church because they knew of our vision as well.
Yeah.
So in 2006, we purchased this church for $200,000, and the council, Uxbridge Council, again stepped in and held the mortgage, and we paid it off in 5 years. So that means in her 100th anniversary year, we could burn the mortgage on this church because we now owned it, and we completed the restoration of the manse.
Yay!
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes. So we do own and operate this place totally now ourselves. Yeah.
Oh, that is so. I hope you had a huge celebration.
We did. We had a conference, an international conference in 2011 here, and people from all over the world came to help us celebrate.
Beautiful.
And burn the mortgage and come and see the restored manse, yes.
I can't believe I have lived in Uxbridge for just about, for 11 years now, and this is my first time on this property.
Well, you need to come back for one of our many functions.
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
So, okay, so tell me a little bit more about the manse and even about the decor that you have going on, the furniture pieces. So where has all this come from?
So Montgomery wrote journals of her life for all of her life from a teen, and she also took many photographs of the manse when she lived here. So that's where our research led us, of course, to those two very full of detail parts. And so Montgomery would vividly describe each room in her journals, and she had pictures there. And so that is what has led us to help restore the manse to what it is. Now, obviously, we can't find everything that she owned. We're still looking.
Yeah.
The neat thing is when you become a national historic site, which we did become one in '97, you're allowed to go shopping at the warehouse in Ottawa, where they have all kinds of things for all their national sites, right? So we had already collected several significant pieces over the years that we knew, but that's where we got the rest of the furniture. But we're always looking, and people give us donation, and if it's a better piece that fits Montgomery, then we accept it, and that's how we do it.
Oh, that's amazing. That's beautiful.
And
I understand the journals have been dishing up some dirt about her life. We'll go into that more. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
When an impaired driver killed my brother DJ, some people used the A word. They called it an accident, but it wasn't. An accident implies that no one was at fault. But when someone impaired by alcohol and/or drugs chooses to drive, they are fully responsible for the crash that can result. So please, for the memory of my brother DJ and the thousands of families whose lives have been shattered by impaired drivers, let's drop the A word.
A crash caused by impaired driving is not an accident.
Illness doesn't have to be a life sentence. Join me each week on Health 180 with Carrie and Fenn as we talk with doctors and other experts about how to reset your life after an illness. Learn health and wellness tips, patient stories, advice, and solutions from professionals on how to be the best you. Together we are stronger. That's Health 180 with Carrie and Fenn right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. I am with Melanie Whitfield of the Lucy Maud Montgomery Society. And we were just talking about the journals that Lucy Maud Montgomery was keeping, and a little bit of dirt about her neighbors and about her marriage, her life, right? So I really enjoy reading those little excerpts on your website. That anything that you find particularly fun to find out about her through her journals?
It's not so much that it's fun, it's just to know Montgomery a little better, right? She was very, as I say, they were her personal journals.
Yeah.
And later in life, she really did recopy them, knowing that sometime they would be made public. But she also put a clause in there that they couldn't be made public till many years
after her death.
So it wouldn't offend the people that she may have written about.
Okay.
A lot of the stories come from Zephyr, the ones that maybe are a little more testy. But you have to understand that the drive to Zephyr on a winter's day by horse and buggy would not be pleasant.
Yeah.
It was just you know, a track at that time and not a road like we would know it now. And she talked about her parochial duty of visiting with people and getting cold pork and roast potatoes over and over and over again, you know, and having to sit and talk with the neighbors about, they wanted to, of course, share their pictures of their family, and she having to think of pleasantries comments to make about the pictures, right? When she didn't really
care.
That's right. So just things like that, right?
Yeah. Well, I thank you for sharing that, Melanie. I wanted to see what kind of dirt we could get in there.
But the Zephyr folks have been through that now, and they
okay, they've gotten over it. They've forgiven her.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Yeah. So you have some really nice events here, so people can have an experience, a Lucy Maud Montgomery experience. So tell me about the teas that you have.
Right. So in a normal time, we have 6 Wednesday teas. They're 5-course luncheons, and we always have a presentation with it. So we get businesses, people from the surrounding community to come and do a presentation. So for $30 now, you get a 5-course tea, you get this wonderful presentation, and you get a tour of the manse. So there's not a better bargain in the township, right?
Does anyone come all dressed up in the era?
And we'd have red hatters, right?
Oh, nice.
The red hatters would come, or we'd have specific teas, like we used to do a Downton Abbey tea theme.
Fun.
And then everybody would come dressed. We haven't done it in the last, but when Downton Abbey was well known and on the air, we did do Downton Abbey for a tea for several years. But we also do, the thing that we're known most for is our signature play, Maud of Leasdale. And it is this year, interestingly enough, celebrating its 10th anniversary of its premiere. It premiered in 2011, the 100th anniversary.
Wow.
We commissioned Conrad Boyce to write a play about Maud's life here. And he based it on all the journals of Montgomery. So, and we hired Jennifer Carroll, who's a local actress, to play Maud. It's a one-woman show. It is a fabulous show. I can't say enough about it, and we're so thrilled that it's celebrating its 10th year. It's been performed here for 10 years in the summer.
Is it performed in here,
right
outside,
in here.
or
right in
the church?
The church where Ewan preached. And interestingly enough, last year we had our first outdoor performances of the play because of the pandemic. And it was performed behind the manse.
That would be a beautiful location. Just like Shakespeare in the Park. It's Maud in the Park.
Exactly. It was a new experience for us. Yes.
Okay, so are these events happening now, or are they about to kick off again?
Yes, they're about to kick off again.
Okay.
We have to wait till stage 3 till we can serve food.
Okay.
But the 4 Wednesdays in August, we'll have the summer teas. The last weekend in August will be the performance of Maud of Leasdale, 3 performances. And we're having a celebratory performance of Maud with invited guests in October. You just need to see our website, please, to keep up to date on what we have to offer you. www.lucymaudmontgomery.ca.
I'm so glad you said that for me. It's beautiful. I love it. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the amazing historical information. And you've created such excitement within me to find out more and explore more about Lucy Maud. Any last minute details you'd love to share with us about her life?
Well, not details, but what I always do in every presentation I give, I want to celebrate the volunteers that work so hard here and have made this what it is. And second to that, the community. We have been supported. You can see plaques in this place that has many people that have supported us over the years, and we wouldn't be where we are today without our community support.
Thank you for the support. Thank you for the volunteers. Thank you, Melanie, for all of that you do as well. And thank you so much for watching. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
our son is one.
My father was one.
I am one.
Are you one?
Hi, I'm Jackie Hermans, the host of Uxbridge Scugog Life. Join us weekdays 9 a.m. to find out everything that's going on in and around your community. That is Uxbridge Scugog Life, only on Rogers TV.
Hi, I'm Constable Gerald Rice, Durham Regional Police Service. Tune into Rogers Cable 10 to watch me on Seniors Talk with DRPS, where we'll talk about all kinds of amazing information and community programs for you, our seniors in Durham Region.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So this was a very cool experience. I am so grateful to have been able to find out a little bit more about the background about Lucy Maud Montgomery. And you know what? I want to make sure. Now, you know what? Before I go there, I want you to know where I'm sitting. I am sitting in the very pew where Lucy Maud Montgomery sat. I'm feeling the energy, feeling the writing vibes coming through me. And I want you to be able to experience that as well. And they have a really neat event that you can come now to be able to experience yourself. It's called the Anne and Maud Experience. You can check out anneandmaud.ca. It's a joint venture with the Pickering Museum. So you'll be going to Pickering and being able to celebrate Anne of Green Gables and then come here and get into the background about Lucy Maud Montgomery. So anneandmaud.ca, make sure you check that out. And I want to come here for tea. Why not come for a tea and crumpets type of adventure here? And now if you're wanting to be on Uxbridge Scugog Life because maybe you have your own program, an event, a service, a product, something you just simply want to maybe educate the community about, send us an email. So it's, let's see if I get this right, Uxbridge Scugog Life at rci.rogers.com. Yeah, I got it right. You can see it down below as well. So you can send me an email if you're interested in being on the show, and we are starting to schedule interviews for September. So I'm so glad you came to join this adventure with me. I'm gonna go check out the grounds, maybe go hang out with the Maud statue. There's a beautiful Maud statue here, so make sure you check that out. So thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with more next week on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
You're watching Rogers TV, Durham Region North.
You must be the reporter. Come with me.
So, Miss McGill, how does it feel being Canada's famous women engineer?
The real story is the work we've done retooling this factory.
To build the Hawker Hurricane?
Indeed. 40 planes last month with a capacity of up to 100. Our fighters are over England as we speak. Of course, it pains me to see airplanes mass-produced like boxcars or baby carriages. But in war, we make concessions in favor of innovation.
You must feel at home, though, managing all of these women.
I'm not here to manage women.
Well, you must admit it is an unusual job.
I'm the chief engineer.